is thinking.
I'm dedicated to it. I can't be stopped. All right, I'm live from the Man Cave Cuckoo's Nest, the Arsenal of Democracy. Take a good look at the old guitar player from Detroit. I'm absolutely inebriated on killer soul music, and I got a killer soul music band. I'm having so much fun out there that your goal in life, liberty and pursuit of ultimate gonzo happiness, is to get completely schnookered and schnackered by your pursuit of happiness. Jason Hartless is my drummer, Johnny Big, bass player, vocalist, supreme, the greatest crew in the world. Thank you, everybody, from Cameron Stewart. I got this beautiful Fred Bear knife. Thank you, Cameron. A beautiful knife. How many people get a knife gift at work? But my gift is the music. I have the greatest crew, the greatest guitar tone. I think the greatest songs, the most fun songs to play. Jason Hartless, you drive, you grind, you propel my sacred music to an unbelievable rhythm grind groove dream. Thank you, Jason Hartless. Tell us about what it's like to play 7 nights in a row with the old guitar player.
Oh man, well, you know, you've always been notorious for just playing as many nights as possible and giving no days off, because it's like, why not? If there's a small little place and we got a day off, let's go do it. You know,
reporting live from the hinterlands of Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I think my first tour with you almost 10 years ago now, I think we did 55 shows in 65 days, which I tell people in the industry and they're like, that's insane.
And isn't it amazing? Because when I really unleash these screams, I'm the closest guy, the closest semi-Caucasian guy to actually get a little Richard James Brown hyper caterwauling scream. And in those 55 concerts in 65 days, and what I'm doing this week, because of the nebulizer that you and your beautiful wife, Lexi, who's going to sing just what the doctor ordered at Freedom Hill in Detroit on the 31st, my God, the energy level, the piss and vinegar. But how about the audiences every night? How about the reaction and the inspiration that these music lovers, they're real music lovers. Lexington 2 nights, Saginaw last night at the incredible Temple Theater. Great, great people, great energy, great staff, great professionalism. You've done a lot of gigs. When you do gigs with other bands, do the people at the facility feel connected like they do when you're on the road with Uncle Ted? These people really have a love affair with our music.
It's such a different thing with you, because, you know, the music connects with people so differently. And, you know, I think you attack the audience differently than anybody else. You make it feel like a one-on-one connection, which is, you know, so rare for, you know, artists to really do. And, you know, when you're on stage, that person in the first row is going to still feel like the person that's in the last row. You know, it's an incredible thing. And everybody, you know, at all these venues, you know, we that's why we have the best crew working, is because when we come in, everyone feels welcome. You know, they don't come in like, oh, well, this is our show. No, it's a collective group. Everyone loves working these shows, and it comes across so much on the gigs later that night.
You know, being raised in Detroit, being influenced by the masters like Johnny Benagic and taking lessons from Tommy Clufettos, who's also on the road with us. He's got a Tommy Clufettos band, and they're rocking like Detroit Animals every night. By the way, I love Animals. But what was it like as a little boy being groomed by the masters in the band Mountain, and then being influenced by Johnny Benagic of Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, and then understanding that Chad Smith came from Detroit, that the world's greatest musicians really either came from Detroit or were influenced by all things Motown in Detroit. As a young kid, and now how old are you now, Jason?
30.
All right, so you've been doing this for 25 years. What year were you born?
94.
Yeah, I was doing hundreds of concerts right after the damn Yankees in 94. So what has this been like, going through all that difficult musical influence and knowing and being responsible to project that Detroit groove, that Detroit musical authority? That's got to be so fulfilling for you. It is for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, and it's like the history. Everyone always talks about Motown, which of course Motown is the pinnacle of all groove. But there's so many amazing musicians that people never even talk about. Talk about Chad Smith. He was a band in the 80s in Detroit, Toby Red. one of the best bands that never got heard really in the 80s. And, you know, and then you're the biggest advocate of, you know, Johnny B and Jim McCarty. And it's like, you know, I got to play with Jim McCarty when I was 8 years old. He played on my, you know, solo record, which was produced by Corky Lang, the drummer of Mountain. And, you know, getting the opportunity to play with these icons and of music that young, you know, it really was a very, very fortunate experience because I was able to kind of, you know, work my way into, you know, what was the right way to approach a groove? What's the right way to, you know, approach a song that you're doing that needs a little bit more backbeat pocket, or approach a song that needs a little bit more of a snap to it. So the Detroit musicians, there's just something that, you know, has been connected, you know, especially 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s more specifically, that just really hasn't been replicated anywhere else. And, you know, you
And when you
being the
discovered,
biggest advocate.
when you started pursuing the Nuge Vault, what you found in my historical vapor trail of music and what Cliff Davies did, phenomenal. All my musicians have been the best. As you unearth the Nuge Vault, share with us some of the reactions people are having. People are getting really emotional about the content of the Nuge Vault.
Absolutely. You know, and it's insane the amount of content that we have. I mean, we've probably only transferred maybe 10%, and it's been a 3, 4 year project for me at this point. But you know, what's crazy is listening to just the broad spectrum of the entire career that you've had, you know, dating back to the 60s all the way to now, and just the power that these songs have had, and you know, hearing the differences of what certain musicians that's been in your band, you know, playing Stranglehold and playing Cat Scratch Fever. And, you know, but the one thing that's always been consistent has been your power and finesse of everything you do for every single gig. And it's pretty remarkable.
Well, we really approach every gig, and I always have, going all the way back to the Lourdes, that tonight is the most important concert of our life. These hard-earned dollars being spent to hear our music and to celebrate our music, I feel absolutely owned by the audience out there. And what you have unearthed in the Nuge Vault, you know, I'm aware of my hysterical career, but I'm also so focused on the next lick, the next gig, the next song, the next musical adventure, because it is a lot of adventure. But what you've discovered in the vault is it's critical to see where I came from. And I came from James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Motown Funk Brothers and Chuck Berry and Little Richard and Mose Allison and certainly Mitch Ryder, the Detroit Wheels, and all these great, great Motown influences. So Jason, I got to thank you for pursuing the Nuge Vault, because I would have never dug into those boxes. I'm just so busy. I'm either hanging up a deer or training the dogs or getting ready for a new jam session. I only got a couple minutes left, and I have to promote those people who support the Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire. But I'll see you tonight in Ludington, and everybody, this will air on Saturday, so we'll be in Paw Paw, Michigan on Saturday night, and at Sterling Heights, home of Jason Hartless, at Freedom Hill on Sunday, the 31st, last day of August 2025. Jason, I love you. I can't wait to jam with you tonight. Thank you for being there. You bring great spirit and great piss and vinegar and energy and attitude and flame-throwing middle finger groove to my music. I love you, buddy.
Likewise, and I'll see you later.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for the support. I want to thank Mike Lindell. I'm not kidding. The only reason I can get this apparatus and these people and this production at Real America's Voice is because Mike Lindell pays the bills. But even if he didn't, go to mypillow.com and raise that red, white, and blue middle finger against the oppressive status quo of a corrupt government that has been after to destroy me, to destroy Mike Lindell, to destroy Donald Trump, and to destroy good American families who stand up for God, family, and country, law and order. Mike Lindell is a hero, and he's an all-American entrepreneur. Go to mypillow.com. Incredible sale. It's the best place to spend your hard-earned money. Support a man who fights for your freedoms every day. A lot of people get spoiled and don't realize that they've been chipping away at our freedoms forever. That's why I want you to go to mypillow.com, type in the code SPIRIT, just get the slippers and the dog beds and the pillows and the bathrobes and the pillowcases and the sheets and the bed toppers. All of his stuff is world class. We love all the products at MyPillow, and I'm really going to hump this great, great man's business because he spins every day for freedom on behalf of we the people. And also this unbelievable dog health enhancement product that the mad scientists have created for Shemaine and I, GetUncleTeds.com. It's the best, most natural, healthy dog supplements. I love my dogs. We actually brought Jackson. Shemaine had Jackson on stage for International Dog Day, which is dog eat dog day every day for me. But Shemaine brought Jackson on stage. We love Sadie and Coco and Jackson. We miss Happy, we miss Gonzo, we miss Bear, we miss Bruin, we miss Blackjack, we miss Thunder. But if we would have had this product, those dogs would have been healthier and they'd have lived longer. Go to GetUncleTeds.com. GetUncleTeds.com. Good stuff. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the greatest 7-night run, even though we've only done 3. We're getting ready to go on stage in Ludington, Paw Paw, and Detroit at Freedom Hill. The music has a life of its own because you music lovers inspire me. Go to tednugent.com and see what I've been up to, what I'm doing. We're going to have the greatest hunting season of our lives. People are coming from all around the country to share a Ted Nugent spirit campfire, literally to go hunting and hear some hunting music around an all-American hell-raising spirit campfire. Go to tednugent.com and check out Sunrise Safaris and be sure that you fight for freedom. We're going to do a best of Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire coming up, and the great John Rich and Shemaine Nugent's Faith and Freedom is leading the way and shining the light in the darkness like I've been doing against these corrupt, jackbooted, anti-freedom, anti-nature, anti-God's miracle game departments all across this country, literally ruining the hunting conservation heritage. I love you people. Rock and roll like you mean it. Uncle Ted, never over, never out.